The train whistle screamed across the empty Montana plain like a woman who'd just lost everything. Clara Hayes stood alone on the platform, clutching the crumpled letter in her fist. The ink had run where her tears had fallen on the words. "I'm sorry, Clara. I can't the man who'd promised her marriage. A home, a future. He'd changed his mind 2 towns back and never even stepped off the train. She had $23 a carpet bag. And a wedding dress folded so many times the lace had started to tear. The station master had already turned away, muttering about another one. The wind smelled of snow coming and broken promises. Boots crunched on the frost-hard gravel behind her. "Ma'am?" The voice was low, rough as cedar bark, but it didn't carry the usual leer she'd learned to brace for. Clara turned. The man was tall enough that the late sun put a halo around his battered Stetson. His coat was expensive once, now sun-bleached and patched at the elbows. Silver threaded his dark hair at the temples, and his eyes were the tired blue of winter sky. Right before a storm breaks. He took off his hat, held it against his chest like he was at a funeral. "I ain't one for pretty speeches." He said, "Name's Elijah Blackwood. Folks call me Eli. I overheard what happened." Clara's chin came up then. "You know, I'm nobody's concern." Eli looked down at the letter trembling in her hand. "I know what it feels like to wait for someone who ain't coming." Something cracked open in Clara's chest at those words. She hadn't expected gentleness from a man who looked like he could wrestle a longhorn to the ground. With his bare hands, he shifted his weight. "I got a proposition you can spit in my face if it's out of line. And I'll walk away, but my twins. Lily and Lucas, they lost their mama 2 winters ago. I'm failing them. They're 6 years old. And already learned how to stop asking when Daddy's coming home. Before dark, I'm rich on paper. Miss Hayes got the biggest spread in 3 counties. But money don't sing lullabies or braid hair, or tell a boy it's all right to cry when the mayor he loves dies." His voice cracked on the last word. He cleared his throat hard like the sound embarrassed him. "I ain't asking for love," he said quickly. "Lord knows I got nothing left to give in that department. I'm asking for mercy. Come home with me. Be there, Mother, on whatever terms you set. I'll give you your own room, your own money, a ticket, anywhere you want the day you decide this life ain't for you. Just please come with me. They need a mother." "And I'm begging," Clara stared at him. She had never heard a man say please like it cost him his soul. She looked at the empty tracks stretching both directions. Nothing waited for her east or west. Except shame and hunger, she thought of the children, who no longer asked when Daddy was coming home. "All right," she whispered. Eli's shoulders dropped, like someone had cut the ropes holding him upright. "Thank you," he rasped. "Thank you." He lifted her bag before she could reach for it, and when his hand brushed hers, calloused, warm, trembling, she realized the big cowboy was shaking. The ride to the ranch took 2 hours. In the buckboard, Eli didn't speak much. Just told her the mountains' names and pointed out where the Elk Winter Range started. Every time the wheels hit a rut, he reached out to steady her without thinking, then snatched his hand back like he'd been burned. The house appeared at dusk, big log beams, windows glowing gold. Clarice's breath caught. It looked like every dream she'd never dared to have. 2 small faces appeared at the window, then vanished. The door flew open before Eli set the brake. 2 identical whirlwinds of red curls and freckles launched themselves at his legs. Daddy Eli dropped to one knee, arms wide, and they crashed into him like he was the only safe place in the world. He buried his face in their hair and held them so tight. Clara heard him swallow a sob. Then Lily peeked around his shoulder. She stared at Clara with huge green eyes exactly like the ones that had begged on the platform. "This is Miss Clara," Eli said. "Voice thick, she's come to stay a while." Lucas hid behind his father's coat. Lily stepped forward instead. "Are you an angel?" she asked solemnly. Clara's laugh came out wet. "No, sweetheart. Just a woman who got on the wrong train and found the right home." That first night, Clara tucked them in. Lily clung to her hand. "Will you be here when I wake up?" the little girl whispered. Clara smoothed the curls back from her forehead. "I will be here every morning you open your eyes, for as long as you want me." Lily studied her face in the lamplight, then nodded once like a queen granting pardon, and fell asleep still holding Clara's finger. Downstairs, Eli stood at the kitchen window, staring at the dark coffee gone cold in his hand. Clara touched his sleeve. "They're asleep." He didn't turn. "I keep thinking I'll wake up and you'll be gone, that I dreamed you, I'm real," she said softly. He faced her. Then the strong bones of his face were wet. I ain't cried since the day we buried Sarah. Tonight I cried when Lily smiled at you. What kind of man does that make me? The kind who loves his children. Clara said the kind who was dying by inches and too proud to admit it. He laughed once broken sound. Stay, Clara. Not for them, for you. Let us be your home. Let me try to be something worth staying for. Winter came hard. That year, Clara learned to make biscuits the way the twins liked them. Slightly burned on the bottom because that was Daddy's special. She learned which stories made Lucas brave and which songs made Lily sleepy. She learned that Eli sang off-key when he thought no one was listening and that he kept Sarah's wedding ring on a chain under his shirt. One night in February, the blizzard howled so fierce the windows rattled. The twins woke screaming from nightmares. Clara carried them both to the big bed in the master room, Eli's bed, though he still slept on the study sofa like a guest in his own house. They all four ended up tangled together under a mountain of quilts. Eli's big arm curved protectively around the children, Clara's head on his shoulder, the twins nestled between them like they'd always belonged there. In the dark, Eli whispered, I stopped believing in miracles the day Sarah bled out in my arms, while I begged God to take me instead. Clara's fingers found his. Miracles don't always come roaring. Sometimes they step off a train with $23 and a broken heart. Spring brought green to the hills and something else to the house on Blackwood Ranch, laughter that didn't sound careful anymore. One May evening, Eli found Clara on the porch swing watching the twins chase fireflies. He sat beside her close enough their shoulders touched. I sold the north parcel, he said quietly. Used the money to buy something. He pulled a small box from his pocket. Inside was a ring, simple gold band, no stone engraved on the inside to second chances. I ain't asking you to replace Sarah, he said, voice rough. I'm asking you to stand beside her in my heart. Marry me, Clara Hayes. Let me spend the rest of my life proving you didn't make a mistake. That day at the station, Clara looked at the twins, her twins laughing in the grass with jars full of summer light. She slipped the ring on. I already know I didn't. She said they were married in the wildflower meadow behind the house, with Lily scattering petals, and Lucas holding the ring pillow like it was made of glass. The preacher was late, so Eli just took Clara's hands and spoke his vows anyway. I was a dead man walking till you came. He said, now I'm alive enough to be terrified of losing you. I'll love you clumsy and awkward and too much, probably. But I'll love you every day I've got left. Clara smiled through tears. You begged a stranger for mercy once. Now I'm begging you love me loud. Eli Blackwood, we've both been quiet too long. Years later, when people asked how the richest rancher in Montana snagged the prettiest woman in the West, ever saw Eli would grin and say, I got down on my knees in the dirt and begged. But the twins, grown now with children of their own, tell it better. They say their daddy was a king who'd lost his crown, and their mama was a queen who'd been robbed of hers. And one cold day at a lonely station, two broken hearts recognized each other across the platform and chose kindness over pride, mercy over loneliness, love, real messy. Lifelong love over fear. They say that sometimes the greatest miracles wear dusty boots and carry nothing but a trembling please. And they wear a torn wedding dress and answer anyway, because home isn't a place. It's the moment someone looks at your shattered pieces and says, please come with me, I need you, and you go.